Phosphor Dot friends, Earl at thelogbook.com, back in the 90s, back on the PlayStation 1. I'm here to remind you what an amazing thing Namco Museum was at the time. This is Volume 1. There were 6 volumes in total, at least in Japan. Obviously giving away that we're talking about Pac-Man, Relic, Galaga. Back before Namco disavowed Ms. Pac-Man again. So 1995, this was one of the... I can't remember if this is one of the launch titles for the PS1, but it was pretty early. Let's take a look at the museum because there are 2 ways to go about this. You can just go to the games, but doing so bypasses... What a neat thing this was. There is an exhibit for each of the games on this volume. So you've got Pac-Man, Galaga, Pole Position, Toy Pop, Bosconian, and Rally X. Toy Pop is really kind of the outlier here because it's a later game than most of these. And as you can see, you're wandering around the Namco Museum is literally this kind of first-person thing you can wander through. Okay, so I guess these were... stickers or something. You have to keep in mind, it's easy to take this for granted now, but in 1995 you did not have MAME. And you didn't have, entire websites yet devoted to this stuff. Not many of them, if there were any at all in 1995. It's kind of, from a modern perspective, I suppose it's a bit frustrating that everything entails a loading screen. But so much of this stuff was unknown to those of us in the US at the time, and so this was a revelation. As you can see, a lot more exhibits. I mean, you can go look at the circuit board if you want. How to play. Just in case, for those of you just joining us, how to play Pac-Man. And then at the end of the exhibit, there's this Pac-Man themed space. A very simple 3D work. Hey, there's the cocktail table version of Pac-Man, as you would have seen it in Japan. And that brings up the game. Again, in 1995, you did not have emulation like this on PC. At least not widespread. Nowadays, you've got people who will sell you preloaded MAME cabinets. In 95, this was amazing. After years of consoles that gave you experiences somewhat similar, but not identical to arcade Pac-Man, here was the real thing. Oh. And pause button. That's always good. Oh. It's okay, I don't really want to stay in this for the whole video. So if I suddenly seem to be playing a less than great game of Pac-Man, oh, there's a reason for that. So now we can go back to the museum. Like that Pac-Man is on the tour with you. And it's like a little kid. It's like, Dad, I want to see that. So that's one way to navigate it. And there's an exhibit like that for all of the various games. Or if you don't want to navigate the museum, which is completely understandable, I'm trying to escape. Or you can just bring up this menu and just play something. That's there too. I'd forgotten that. It's been a while since I've looked at this. You know, because we do now have MAME, and we do take this stuff for granted. And yet, in 1995, if you were an oldster like me who was now in his mid-20s but had frequented the arcade at a much younger age, this was... you chew up a whole weekend with this. No joke. Oops. Well, one of you want to try that again? Anybody? Probably don't, do you? No, we don't want to capture you. You're aggressive. Okay, I could take a hint. Really needs to happen in stage 2 anyway. Oh, probably shouldn't have taken that one out. Well, the challenging stage is going to be a total loss unless... Hey... Alright. And one more time. Now stay put for the challenging stage. Still got it. Still got it. Probably gonna get blown up real good now. Yep. Nobody puts baby in a corner. See, that was a great thing about this. You see how easy it is to get stuck in it again? Oh. I don't like you anymore. Don't you want to try to, like, capture me, maybe? You don't, do you? It's gonna be a waste of time. Yeah, I've officially left the zone. But I also don't want to spend the whole video here. So let's go ahead and bang. Oh, really? Well, I suppose I can do this just this once. for old time's sake. Oh no. No, I don't want to do the thing again. But I'm sure you get the idea just with those two games being demonstrated. This primed the pump for a lot of what we retro gaming people take so much for granted now. This made you hungry for something that could play more than just those 6 games. And, Namco was pretty generous with that. They rolled out 5 volumes in the US and a 6th volume in Japan, which we'll take a look at sometime. But that made you just want more. And there were other companies that were happy to oblige you with that. There were a couple of volumes of Midway arcade classics. And there were a lot of arcade classics compilations in Japan, in the Japanese market, that never came out here. So obviously there was a fever for it. There was a market for it. And the fact that there wasn't that much activity after like 96, 97 or so on the PS1, MAME issued its first release candidate in 1997, early in 97. And so I think there is a direct through line to be drawn from Namco Museum Volume 1 to emulation as we know it now that will play just about anything.